Hey guys, this is Axel Fire here, or After Death, as this Death Knight is called. And I am bringing you a guide to 5 masking the horrific vision of Orgrimmar as an Unholy Death Knight. For starters, let's look at the talents that I like to take for this. So I go with Infected Claws because when your ghoul is in Dark Transformation form, the Cleave can apply the Festering Wound to a whole lot of targets. And combined with your Death and Decay, your Scourge Strike will pop all the Festering Wounds at once. And has massive burst damage in AoE. All will serve, I could see that. That's single target. So if you're having some issues with like Rexar, maybe all will serve will be a little better. Although I think for Rexar, you still want to just like focus down the boars, in which case you probably still want this. Clawing Shadows I don't think is useful in Horrific Vision of Orgrimmar. I can see its use though in Horrific Vision of Stormwind with certain bosses like Illyria Windrunner, where there's like phases that you can't be next to the boss, but you could like still be at range, and throwing that out. So in the second tier here, I take Bursting Sores for the AoE damage. I think Unholy Blight could be used to honestly like all three of these options I could see. This is just the one that I like to use. It's very passive, very low maintenance compared to these ones, and it's just as good if not better. Alright, this tier I like Asphyxiate for the stun. I could see Grip of the Dead if you just want that like big slow. In the Death's Reach, you don't need to Death Grip things that often. It has pretty much no use in here. Alright, this tier, I go with Pestilent Pustules. Again, it's lower maintenance than Soul Reaper. And kind of combined with this one right here, you see like all of these deal with Festering Wounds, so there's like some synergy here. Soul Reaper is probably just as good as this. The haste is nuts. Especially if you have, where is it? If you have this corruption, like the increased amount of haste you gain from all sources, if you have that kind of thing, it's great. But it is high. It's more upkeep, and this does just as well. Death Pact. So I used to take Spell Eater for the Giant Shield, which that's actually pretty helpful on Rexar, but Death Pact's also pretty helpful on Rexar. So I've been liking Death Pact recently because sometimes you'll find yourself where you're fighting a whole lot of little bugs and there's like one giant bug, and so you kill the little bugs really quickly and you get your Dark Sucker procs, but then you're still trying to kill like the big bug, and you don't have any other way to heal yourself aside from just like slow passive stuff, unless you have like a lot of leech on your gear, which I do not. And Death Pact is really good for those spiky scenarios. As a tip too, if you have like a Dark Sucker proc or if you have health potions, and you get like chunked really low on life and you want to like use one and Death Pact, make sure you use the Dark Sucker or the health pot before using Death Pact, because Death Pact will put a anti-heal shield on you. So if you do it the other way, you'll like Death Pact and then you like won't get nearly the healing from your other source. And then you'll feel dumb and probably die. On this tier here, this is one of the few that I think is locked in place. Epidemic, I kind of wish they reworked this tier a little bit. Epidemic's crazy powerful right now. If they rework this tier, honestly, they should probably just nerf Epidemic a little bit. It's crazy powerful. That's the reason why you look at in Mythic Pluses and like you see the tournaments and stuff, and people bring Unholy Death Knights. It's because Epidemic is actually crazy. Not to mention Death Knight's other utilities. On this tier, the two viable options are Army of the Damned and Unholy Frenzy. If you're using the essence that I use, then Army of the Damned is pretty good. I use the Vision of Perfection, which sometimes spawns minions. And this is also really good if you have a lot of the Azurite trait. The one that like makes your corpses explode. I don't know the name of it. Maybe it's just called Corpse Explosion. I do not run that, although I still think this is the strongest, one of the strongest essences. But I run Unholy Frenzy. I just like the way it feels. Just go into town. It helps you burst down certain things like Rexar really quickly. And then Summon Gargoyle needs to be buffed. It is not very good. As for essences that I run, so right now I run Vision of Perfection. I could totally see Essence of Focusing Iris might actually be better, but this is just what I like to run. The passive and the major and minor are very good on this. Breath of the Dying is crazy. You'll see if you look at your damage logs, this is like 8%-ish, 10% of your damage a lot of the times. It's pretty crazy. Essence of the Focusing Iris, I just talked about that a little bit, but the haste is haste is haste. And haste is crazy. And then Memory of Lucid Dreams, I run that. I don't run any of the ones from past raid tiers that require you to run the raid tier just because I didn't play much during those raid tiers, so I don't have them. And I know some of the ones from Najatar or even the other raid are really good. Yeah, that's what I run there. As far as gear, you can see I'm level 469. One thing I like to do is I have 2 weapons. One has Twilight Devastation, and one has Infinite Stars. I switch between the two. Ideally, if you were like, you know, pimped out on all your corruption and all that, you would just have a whole bunch of these. You just have a whole bunch of these, and then maybe the one that procs haste sometimes. But until you get those, like, this just chews through AoE packs, especially on Rexar, to like chew through the boars. And once you kill like one boar, you get like a proc of what's this thing called? You get a proc of Gift of the Titans, and then you just go crazy. And hopefully you can get like really lucky on Rexar 2 and get like 2 procs in a row, and it just destroys all the boars. But then single target fights like Thrall, then I use the Infinite Stars. All right, let's get this underway. There, I don't think I bought one yet. Let's buy our vessel. And get going. All right, I'm going to go over what each mask here does and how I deal with them. Once we get through the load screen. While we're waiting in the load screen, as far as consumables go, make sure you have kebabs. So this is kebab right here. It restores 100 sanity, and I'll show you how I use that. I use swamp fish and chips. Haste food is great. And you can use this. This is a stronger flask that does like 300 strength. I just have a lot of these from leveling up in Alchemist. So make sure you have a strength flask too. And if anybody outside's if there's like a nice priest or whatever tossing out health buffs, that's always, you know, welcome. All right, let's go through these masks. Mask of the Burned Bridge. This one leaves shadow poop behind you that lasts for, I want to say it's like 6 to 8 seconds. I don't know. It's not too bad. With that mechanic, you just don't really want to move around too much during boss fights. You know, be cognizant of your movement, or you will fill the area up very quickly with the void stuff. It only takes for like 6 corruption a pop, I think, so it's not too bad. It's totally manageable. In fact, in some cases, if you have enough move speed, you can just like run over it and it won't even tick. But I think it's pretty easy to deal with. All right, Flask of the Endless Night, or Long Night. Reduces maximum sanity by 50%. That's the first mask you get, and it's the hardest mask to deal with. So as you can see there, my sanity pool is now 575. Ooh, excuse me. Before doing masking, because that's the first mask you get, so you have to deal with that first. Before starting any mask attempts, I would make sure that you can clear Orgrimmar or Stormwind without your sanity dropping below 50%. Like, you should do some runs pretending that you have this. Mask of the Daredevil. This is the one that pairs with Long Night, and together, these two are all the difficulty of 5 masking. The other ones are whatever. So Mask of the Daredevil increased sanity damage from creatures by 400%. This is why Rexar is very difficult, because the board's Void Quills do crazy corruption damage because of Mask of the Daredevil. So you want to kill them and interrupt their Void Quills extremely fast. There's other mobs like Mishra's AoE Howl does like 120 sanity damage because of that. So that's the mechanic that forces you to play around mechanics. Early on, when you're doing these runs and you have a low level cape, that reduced sanity loss within Visions of Zinzoth really isn't stacked up yet. So most of your sanity damage is just going to come from existing in higher level areas. But once you have your cape all stacked up, this kind of forces you to have another way to have to interact with sanity. All right, Mask of the Dark Imagination or something. Yeah, Dark Imagination. While below 50% of maximum sanity, occasionally summon enemies from the void. So a faceless monster will spawn sometimes when you're below 50%. And for Death Knight, I think that's really good because they die really quick, and it's another charge you can get of Dark Sucker, so it's just another opportunity to heal up. I've only had it like one time be like, oh no, it spawned. Usually it's like, hell yeah. And the last mask there is renders the wearer prone to additional simultaneous madnesses, Mask of the Pain. So this is only annoying for the lost zones. The other two zones is kind of whatever. I think it's this week you actually have it. It's kind of annoying where you have split personality and then you have the AoE fear circle, because sometimes those can stack up with other abilities and become really difficult to deal with. Or if you have the AoE fear circle and leaden foot, you have to like start moving immediately when you see that circle on the ground if you're slowed down. Those are the only combinations that are particularly annoying. The other thing to talk about with Vimass is that enemy damage is increased by 125 and enemy health is increased by 125. That's incredibly noticeable. When 3-masking, I could still do like these large pulls and just go, pretty much like skip and jump through Orgrimmar, but I remember like once I first did a 5-mask, I tried doing like the initial pull that I usually do, and I just like died, or I triggered my free death basically on that going. I was like, oh my god, it's increased damage. So be aware of that. I tend to do some slower pulls aside from the very first pull that we're gonna do in here. So without further ado, let's get going. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot to eat. Another tip. This is more pertinent to Orgrimmar. I recommend getting I can't remember what it's called. The Comfortable Rider's Barding, so you don't get knocked off. That way, when you do the big pull at the start, or if you like decide to do any other big pulls, you don't get dazed or knocked off your horse. There's nothing like getting knocked off your horse in a big open field with a bunch of casters that you can't really corral. I also recommend having a couple health potions. This is actually low. Usually I have about 5 or more. All right, so in here I like to grab... Ooh, that's unlucky, getting the slow desynchronization. I like to grab that pack, these guys right here. Come on. There's a chest there. I grab this pack. I sometimes grab that pack, but I run in here because there's a chance that... he's not here. I don't remember the guy's name, but there's a guy in here that can potentially give you... 1 second. All right, this guy in here would potentially give you a 10% damage increase. I'm doing really bad right now. It's because it's my first one of the day. So I'm like, how do I play my character again? This thing's overpowered as crap, though. And you can see the Twilight Devastation proc right there. Just kind of destroyed everything. And you can see I'm getting hit by a lot of mechanics. So... this is by no means, perfect run. And this is kind of, to demonstrate that you don't have to do things perfectly. And this content's quite accessible. I'm not trying to intentionally show that, but that's just going to, happen throughout the video. All right, so we got a red liquid vial here. I think that goes to blue. Okay, red goes to blue. So if you have handy notes or a weak aura, maybe there might be other add-ons, I don't know. You can tell that the potion in there... based on the potion in there, you can tell what potion will give you sanity. I'm just checking in here for an orange crystal. If this is your first time 5-masking, I don't recommend going for the crystals. Unless they're, like, right in your face. Because that one's not there, I know that the one in here is very likely there. Let's get that, pull that guy. He'll die to, Panda. Ooh. I did not see him put the totem down. God, I am doing so bad right now. Okay. So there's the crystal there. It's like my hand won't move. Alright, there's Gammon. Hi, Gammon. Use my Dark Sucker proc. Try to get out of this whirlwind. Be a little bit cognizant of my burn bridge here. Like, you can see me like Scourge striking when there's no festering wounds, because I'm a baddie. I'm also not using my cooldowns very well. You should try to get in the habit of, unless you know that there's something ahead of you that you want your cooldowns up for, you should probably use your cooldowns on cooldown. All right. Oh, it's got shockwave. The You notice, like, even there, I didn't, like, Apocalypse when it was at 4. I did it at 3, but that's because I knew it would pretty much blow up everything in front of me, even at 3. That's actually another thing I didn't do it there, but I do have 2 Apocalypses, and I have potions macroed to one of the 2 Apocalypses. You see right there, I just got a blue potion. And right here, I'm going to use a kebab. And what I did bad right here is I should have waited for the Bloodthirsty to come out, so there's a chance that I get interrupted before I use this. Please. Yes, barely. So the Bloodthirsty can interrupt that, so you should sit there, wait for Bloodthirsty, and then use the food. Alright, so we've got... with these, you just have to jump and stand still, pretty much. The Scorched Feet is a lot more friendly in Orgrimmar, in my opinion, than it is in Stormwind. Stormwind, I freaking hate it. Whoa. Alright. Need to remember to talk to Grona here. I tend to forget that a lot. There's another blue vial right there. I'll probably come back and grab that afterwards, because right now it doesn't actually give me a whole lot of sanity. Ooh, this is up. I haven't seen this one up in a while. I forget which buff this guy gives, but sometimes this guy will be up, and he can give you a buff too. That was weird right there. I had runes up, and it wouldn't let me cast. What did he give me? Okay, so he's the critical strike buff. Oh, there's another blue vial here. This is terrific. This is like our 3rd one. Sometimes we get runs where like you don't even see the relevant thing for quite a bit of the run. So in these... Oh, God. All right, so in these packs, you always want to kill the Dominator because they cast that Touch of the Abyss ability. Make sure we're using our Dark Sucker procs. Blah. Sometimes you get tossed around and just kind of go with the flow. Twilight Devastation just carries the damage so hard. Oh my god. I'm just going to sit there and take it so I can open that. Alright. Because I'm right next to it, I'm just going to take a chug of this. And I'll probably come back and grab the other one. We'll see how much we're at by the time we get to the boss. Ooh, I am caught on a rope. Alright. So there's that guy. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Abomination here, because it takes like a minute to check all these things for crystals and to like go in, free all the guys. Alright, let's see. Chests or crystals? Nada. I'm always like checking around for potions too. Alright, so that's the 2nd chest. Which means we don't need to check any of the places chests can be, but there's 2 more spots like crystal could be. And it should be in both those spots. Oh, come on. Alright. So for this boss here, I recommend using this stump to line of sight his 2nd... we'll see what the cast is called. I can never remember. You'll see it here in a second. That. So the first one I like to use Anti-Magic Shell on. This shield you can just burn through, usually. Alright, so I'm going to be careful of the fire thing, and then I'm going to hide back here. Do not jump, even if you have entemophobia during that, because you can still... You know, I've never tested this out. I wonder if the root thing line of sights this. It's only like 18 sanity anyways. Alright. That's actually an ability too that Thrall inherits, and because it's like based on the guy's am I missing one? I didn't see it. I seem to be missing a crystal. Maybe it wasn't here and I just didn't check fully. I'm just doing this because I'm missing a crystal, and I want my crystals for my completion, and B, I know there's a potion up at the top over there. So I thought it was in there. Huh. Weird. Alright, so I'm going to go back, grab this blue liquid right here, go back to full sanity. Yeah, because I only got one from the drag. I picked up the one in there. It should be one right there. I don't know why. I must just be blind. You can tell by the way that I've been playing that the morning's not kind so far. What on earth? Alright. I'm not going to waste too much time with it. If I can't find it, I can't find it. Alright, so I'm pretty much going to use all my cooldowns on Mishra here, but I'm going to stop for split personality. I can't really get by that, so I'm just going to stand still until they go away. Yeah, right. So yeah, we're going to use cooldowns on Mishra. Mishra is super annoying. I'm going to try to get away from her before the roar comes out and before split personalities comes out, because the combination of that is a lot of damage. Alright, so we got our... I don't want to overpull here. I know that you can grab like this group and that group and stuff in lower tiers. I try to not do that. I know these scarabs do like crazy damage, or you know, it feels like they do. I didn't actually have to pull that group. That was just kind of muscle memory. Alright, so we're going to grab this here. Check to see if the one under the bridge is there. It is not, which is good because that's the most annoying one. There's a blue potion down there though. And we will grab that blue potion. There's not a crystal over there. And then I'm going to try to do my interrupts on this guy as best I can. And that's why I take asphyxiate. Oh, this is the fear thing right there. Just going to yank him over here. All right. After this area, I can come back and grab this blue vial. Way down split personality again. That way. And grab that guy. Use a few of my cooldowns on this pack. You don't really need it for that mini boss. He's not very hard. Oh, we got stunned there. Fortunately, our passive damage is carrying us through here. Alright, since we did get a proc there of Gift the Titans, we're just going to go ahead and pull this guy. We're going to use Apocalypse once we get up to a few stacks there. Get out of that. Can't actually grab him, I guess. We'll just have to wait for him to come to us. Uh-oh. I'm going to anti-magic shell here, which I guess actually doesn't do anything. But we get the sanity restored when we kill the guy. And I'm going to look for my crystals. There's one right there. And we stop. And we go. It's also really good to line this up with Rexar. So it might not line up very nicely with the way this group is. So you can actually just kind of hang around, and if you know where a potion is that you can use. As much as I want to use my Icebound Fortitude right there, I'm not going to. Oh, I didn't... Wow, I'm a bad baddie. We might get our free death procced here. Nope, we didn't have the free death procced, which is kind of a good thing. Alright. I didn't see that at all. I'm doing so bad at that. Alright, so there's a potion back there, but I'm going to get the potion after Rexar. And that's because we're going to lay down one of these when we engage Rexar. Also not at full health. If you have bandages, this would be like... It'd be really nice to have bandages here. I do not have bandages, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eat some more fish and chips. I think one of the horrifying things came out pretty recently. I could use like Blood Pact, but I kind of don't want to, use it if I don't have to. I'll probably heal up from this initial opener on him too, because you do have some passive healing in your kit. All right, let that sit there. All right, here we go. You have to be aware that these boars can bump you into your split person just like that, into your split personalities, and that's where things get a little wonky. So we actually killed Rexar super quick there, kind of on accident. Just our minions just murdered him. You can see the damage there, and I'm gonna wait for the split. We don't have to grab the potion down there because we're kind of at full sanity. I think that's actually the quickest I've ever killed him. Stop it. All right. Yeah, geez. How many Twilight Devastation procs was that? Was that just one? It says hits. I don't know if that's like a cast or if that includes like hitting Rexar and then like hitting boars. But yeah, that was a murdering right there. All right, so now we're gonna run up this way, very slowly. Grab this chest. I'm missing one chest from the area. It says 4 chests, but this is actually counting the chest that you open at the end with the mementos in it from the ethereal guy. It's always looking for blue potions too. All right, so I'm gonna wait for this, and then I'm gonna use a kebab. Honestly, I don't really need to right now, but I'm just kind of showing best practices. Because, like, we don't need to right now because I'm at this amount, and, like, when we kill this guy, we're going to restore 200 sanity, so we're just going to be right back at full. But, just best practices. Also, keep in mind your ghoul gets despawned when you use the little jumpy thing. Try to slowly bring them over this way. Huh. Kind of thought that would proc the Gift of the Titans. I'm actually really surprised these haven't proc the Gift of the Titans yet. It's one of those cases I've called that putt too early. This guy you basically just keep... If you keep like kind of moving in a circle around him, none of his abilities will really hit you. Because he charges to a location and then he shoots out basically a very quick boomerang ability. And the boomerang ability does a lot of sanity damage. But even if you kind of fumble it, you shouldn't take it that much. And you'll probably restore up to full after him. Alright, this area I believe is easier than whatever the area with Rexar is called. Come here, my child. I have candy for you. Alright, so in this zone... Oh. In this zone, you just have to get like a certain percentage of the area cleared to summon the last guy. There's a blue vial right there, so mental note. Let's see, we got 23. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to kill this group, and like... By the time the group is nearly dead, this should be back up, and then we pull this guy. Let's actually run out of this. You don't have to run, in the exact group ordering that I'm doing here. I timed it correctly, but it just didn't proc, and then I run right into a thing, because I'm a baddie. Here. I'm just going to kill this thing. Please proc my gift. Alright, since gift didn't proc there, I'm going to pull this group. Right, we got our sanity thing. I'm actually watching it this time. I was doing so good at the start about watching for it, and like I've fumbled it the last 2 times. I'm trying to save my cooldowns, because if I get a proc, I'm running straight over to the guy and pulling him. It is being very non-cooperative. Alright, that guy takes forever to kill, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. These things have an annoyingly large amount of health. And there's like some... Oh, now it procs. There's also so many ground effects too that you have to like kind of move away from them by the time they come up. Let's see. That's purple, red. No crystal in here. So I'm gonna pull this group. If I had procced it here, I would pull this group into that group, but we didn't get our procs, so just gonna be going a little slower. Slower is fine in here. You really don't need to like, you know, chain pull everything. I see people do that. I mean, if you know what you're doing, good for you. But if you're like just getting into it, do not recommend. All right, split personality in conjunction with the fear. It's a little annoying. That was a little close there. All right, do not pull this group over here unless there's like a chest over here and you really want the chest, because it has 2 dominators, and dominators are the ones that will basically kill you in this area because of Touch of the Abyss right there. That ability like stuns you for 5 seconds or something. And if you're stunned for 5 or 4 seconds, then there's so many bad things that can happen to your sanity or your life. All right. Give me a moment. I'm going to pause the video, and I have a phone call. Hello? Oh, yes. Yeah, no, I can't do that today. But we got it still scheduled for Friday, right? Like a week from now? All right, thank you. Yeah. Bye. Sorry about that, but I'm technically, you know, always on call, so... Well, that wasn't work. It could have been. And hey, this video show you that you can even pause and have, like, stupid phone calls from your dentist asking you if you want your appointment earlier. Alright, but since we don't, we are still doing this grinding. Alright, so since that procced immediately, I'm just going to turn around and pull this guy. Even though we're kind of low, we can't take sanity damage right now. So we'll just kill him and get our free 200 sanity. Alright. Alright, so you can put down a thing before this guy, a sanity restoration orb. I'm pretty sure I don't need to, so I'm just gonna, you know, go for it. But, you know, sometimes, you know, it's good to be on the safe side. Like, best practices is probably to have done it right there. Alright, let's see how this split goes. Just run through him here. Ooh, that was close. There's the split personality. I got hit by something right there. I was kind of surrounded, though. Oop. These guys do live, by the way, after the encounter. Oh. I always forget that, like, once you clear the zone, the stuff still happens. It's really annoying when, like, it starts creeping on you, like, right before you cross this line. All right. So usually I go in there, but right now, because usually I'm actually at nearly full sanity, but because of that phone call, it put me back some sanity. So I'm just going to eat a kebab here. Hopefully I don't get knocked out of it by bloodthirsty too early. And then we'll go on to the next zone. All right. Make sure we jump for an I don't know how to pronounce that, atomophobia, something. All right, usually I'll actually just like pull these guys into this group over here. Because the Tormentors, while they do like an AoE damage thing, they don't really do anything else. And you guys just anti-magic shell it too if you want. I am trapped down here and I have a proc. Come on. Alright, I'm just going to pull this group here. You don't really have to get this group, but there could be a thing up there. I couldn't see from the camera angle. I'm actually really used to the rare spawn, or whatever you want to call them, being up right there. The person has been up right there for like my past, I don't know, 5 runs I've done this place. Alright, so is the guy up there? Alright, there's not actually a crystal or a chest up here this time. Keep my eyes peeled for blue potions. Don't see any. It's a black potion. I think this is a black potion too. Purple. Close enough. If it ain't blue, it's all the same, right? Whoa! Alright, there is an orange crystal up there. I don't know if this pulls. Nope. Alright. So we might get a proc here. If we get a proc here, I'm just gonna like run this way and like so. Actually use the fire to jump up there intentionally. Let's not get too greedy. I was about to pull that other group and I was like, yay. I was like, yeah, we're not really at full life. What color are you? It's like in the trees. Can't tell. Green. Oop. That is my achievement screen. Now that we're actually below 50% sanity, you can see the, I think it's Horrific Figment. I think that's the one that spawns. But again, it's just a free Darksucker proc. In most cases. This is actually kind of an annoying combo because they're both movement oriented. The one that's like the guy who slowly walks at you is probably the easiest one. Well, I guess the one where you jump is really easy. The fire thing's just so annoying, especially like on my monk. It's the tornado kick. I think it's like tornado kick or whatever. It makes you jump technically, and then it like triggers the fire to throw you back. Right, there's that. You'll notice this macro doesn't actually work in this area. That's just how it is. Alright, so I'm going to use this before this boss. Oftentimes I don't, but as I've been saying, that phone call put me a little behind. Of course, I use that right as I see that there's a blue vial right there. So let's use all our weapons. And we'll dispatch Warrock and Ajax to bring back his body. Where are you at? Alright. I can't remember if I got 1 or 2 of the crystals. I think I only got 1, so those should be right there. Alright. Just for the sake of completion. Alright, so all we got left is to turn in our memento. We could find the 10th crystal, but I'm not going to. Is to turn in our crystals and kill Thrall. And Thrall's pretty easy. I'm just going to switch to my log here for single target. Because he actually can live a little bit of time. And if I'd found 10 instead of 350, there you get. I think it's 420 or 425. So that crystal is worth like 75 mementos. It's actually like a fairly large thing over time. All right, so here's Thrall. You can always stick with the Twilight Devastation just for the boars. Sneak in here a little bit, drop my last Sanity Restoration, pop Army of the Dead, and click a boar, and say, what's up, Thrall? So kill the boars first. Use all your cooldowns. Make sure you just blow those up. Keep an eye on Thrall, though. Watch his cast for the stun thingy. Yeah, sir. Oh, that's not it. Now he's pretty simple from this point on. He just dodges things. It's almost like normal. Cries of the Void, I almost recommend just anti-magic. Oh, you know, I almost could have gotten through it there. It's just really hard to get through that ability. So sometimes I just recommend ignoring the fact that it's there and just take the 18 sanity loss and the damage. The slow. I don't know what we just took that 30 sanity tick from. Maybe we got clipped by the ring. Alright, sweet. And that's how you 5-mass the place. Let's see what we got. I've already done this once in the week, so I'm not gonna get. I don't think I get a 470. I've been testing if this is consistent, but I think what happens is your first 5-mass of the week you get a 470 item level, and then your second one you get a 465, and then your third one you get a 460, and so forth. So this should be a 465. Yep. Oh. This has tier 3 arcane on it. Unfortunately, it says mastery, which is kind of crap. Well, you know, mastery is really good for mythic pluses and stuff, but for single targets, utter crap. All right, thanks for watching, and I also have a video for the Horrific Vision of Stormwind if you want to watch that, and I recorded that last week. Until next time, see you later.